If the Cobra Kai had a shoe, it would be this.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another GingerRunner.com review. Today, we're reviewing a special shoe from Salomon, the Fellcross 3. Oh boy, it's a demon. This is a badass trail shoe, one that can pretty much get you through all of the nastiest trails you could possibly think of. So I've had this shoe for a while now, but I'd say I put most of the miles in this shoe while I was traveling up north. There's a reason. This shoe is designed and built for adverse conditions. I mean, we're talking huge lugs on the outsole that are primarily used for mud, fell running, snow, and the nastiest, muckiest of conditions. And living in Southern California, I don't get a lot of that down here, so I had to wait until I traveled and actually was able to put good miles in this shoe in the conditions that this shoe excels at and was designed for. And I'll be honest, that was a huge benefit to this review because it really showed me what this shoe was capable of. There's a lot of things I like about it. There's a couple of things that I dislike, but for the most part, I think we have a hit here. So when it comes to the Salomon Fellcross 3, here are the things that I like. The outsole. It is obvious just looking at this thing that it was designed for business. The giant chevron lugs on this shoe were designed to get you through some nasty stuff. And honestly, they work. They're a good 8 millimeters long, plenty of room to get you into mud, into snow, and get you some good grip. And the angled chevrons for both directions, ascending and descending, are awesome. They really work, they latch on, and they pull you up. Build quality. Now, a majority of the Salomon shoes that I've tested have really stood up. I've had a couple instances where I busted through the upper. This shoe hasn't happened, don't see it happening. It's built tough and rugged, and despite really throwing it through the ringer in snow, mud, and really technical trail conditions, it looks awesome and has held up great. The upper. Now, Salomon is using a lot of their cool upper technologies when designing this bad boy. Not only do we have the really nice welded overlays throughout, they're utilizing their EndoFit and SensiFit technology. Gives you a nice wraparound, almost like sliding your foot into a sock when you put the shoe on, which is great for that mid-foot fit. And being a lightweight racing fell shoe, it utilizes some of its cool protection features like the tongue overlay, the toe guard, and just an overall slim profile. It's great. Light-ish. Under 10 ounces on this shoe, which is great compared to the Speedcross 3, which is a bit heavier, has a bit more cushioning and midsole material in the heel area. This goes for light and fast, while still retaining a lot of that grip and traction for the really terribly muddy, nasty trails. And finally, surprisingly, flexible. Look at this. Because the shoe is so light, there's not a ton of midsole material in there, there's not a lot in the overlay. The result is a nice flexible shoe, which is great and what I really like in a trail shoe. I want to be able to feel those trails, feel the nooks and crannies, and feel when I need to bend my foot. Despite all the likes, there are a couple of things I dislike about the shoe. Narrow. It's a problem I've had actually with a lot of Salomon shoes. They are a bit narrow. They do take some getting used to. If you have a wider foot, you're definitely gonna want to try these on first. I will say that after running in them for a good 4 or 5 weeks, my feet did get used to that narrow feeling and almost enjoyed that nice, narrow, nimble feeling. But I gotta give you the heads up. It's a narrow shoe. Midsole material. If you look closely here at the heel, you'll see some of this black midsole material, which is actually hidden by the overlays on the front forefoot. It's a very similar durometer and density of an EVA midsole to the S-Lab Sense Ultra shoe, which I've reviewed many months ago. Does not give you a ton of cushioning. It's actually given to you more by the Ortholite insole. So for some people, if you're expecting a cushioned trail shoe, it's not gonna be this one. But the trails that this shoe is designed for, mud, snow, and nastiness, sometimes you're not really gonna feel that lack of cushioning. Terrain specific. Now, this is kind of an obvious dislike. However, this shoe is very terrain specific. Buffed out single track, SoCal, dry stuff, just it's not gonna work. This shoe requires you to be running on some sort of soft, unique surface like mud or snow. There's very little leeway, very little in between. So if you're running on muddy trails with lots of technical rocks and roots, you might still run into some issues with slipping on those rocks and slipping on those roots if they're very wet, because the lugs don't provide you a ton of surface area. So yeah, I consider it a dislike, but it's also not really the shoe's fault. Just know that if you're looking for a shoe for those particular conditions, this would work. If you're not, then this might not be the shoe for you. And finally, price. It's a doozy. 170 bucks. Yeah, I don't like that. It's a lot of money. But that, my friends, is it for dislikes and likes. I overall felt this shoe was awesome when I was running in it in the conditions that it needed. It's a solidly built shoe from Salomon, and if you're needing something for those niche moments or those very specific trail runs, training, or races, boom, you got it right here in the Fellcross 3. But man, that price, oh boy. So let's get on with the point, shall we? Quality, 4 out of 5. Awesome piece of gear. This lasted me a good 50-60 miles at least at this point with very little signs of wear. Again, I've been limiting myself to running in the conditions that require a shoe with this sort of magnitude lugs. Comfort, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5, but it's also a bit borderline 3 out of 5 just because there isn't a lot of cushion midsole material, and to be honest, I had a number of issues along my metatarsal phalangeal joint right here on the medial side of my foot. That seemed to be a real sensitive pressure point that didn't have a ton of protection and consistently got banged and bruised. Price, 2 out of 5. $170 is very, very expensive, especially for a shoe that will only work in certain conditions. But also know that these will probably go on sale soon because they've been out for a while. Who knows? And finally, looks. 4 out of 5. As I mentioned at the top of the show, the Cobra Kai of running shoes, black and red. I mean, Salomon kind of does this color simplicity really, really well. I think it's a cool design. I'm digging the looks on these. 4 out of 5. That brings our grand total to 14 out of 20. Not a great score, but again, the price is really what's killing this thing and the specificity of use, so just know that going into it. But overall, I thought the Salomon S-Lab Fellcross 3 is a really good shoe when the situation arises, so check it out. In the comments below, let me know, have you run in the Salomon Fellcross 3? Or any Salomon shoe recently that you've been like, oh, this is amazing, or this is crap? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, please like, favorite, and subscribe. If you did not, send it to your enemies. Let them watch it. Do not forget that I'm on all the social networks. Over on Twitter, it's @TheGingerRunner. On Facebook, facebook.com/TheGingerRunner. Instagram, it's @EthanNewberry, and of course, gingerrunner.com. Also, every single Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm doing live shows with guests coming on and answering questions from you guys, the live viewers, so do not miss that. We'll see you guys next Monday for that one. Otherwise, subscribe. Hope you're getting out there training hard, racing harder, and partying the hardest. I know I am. That's it. Okay, goodbye.